So I feel like anytime I record a video for anything, I always start with like, excuse the mess in my room. So maybe it's not just a mess because it's the end of the school year. Maybe this is just how I live. So I'm not going to forgive it. It's a mess. Welcome to my house. So yesterday marked the last day of my first official school year out of the classroom and working as an instructional technology coach. And I have to tell you, it has honestly been one of the best years of my entire career. And I feel guilty saying that a lot because I know how those in the classroom are still dealing and still struggling. And I feel bad for them. And it's not to be over dramatic, but it feels a little bit like a survivor's guilt. So one of the things that throughout the school year, I've had people reach out to me. Number one, is your place of work hiring and can they bring me in? But like how to get out of the classroom. And the truth is I don't have an easy answer. I will link to, it took me 7 years to get out of the classroom. I don't have an easy answer. It wasn't an easy journey for me. I fought and fought and fought to finally get where I am. And I don't know what the big changing, element or component or thing that I did, action that caused it. But what I would like to do is talk in this video about 5, actionable steps that you can take towards building your resume and working on your skills to help you get either another job in education, maybe a job within education that's out of the classroom, maybe to get a job outside of education altogether. There are things that you can do when you've been, teaching at the same building for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and you want to get out. So I'm going to share those with you today. So number 1 would be apply and present at conferences. And I know that is, it's scary for a lot of people, but working on your public speaking skills and getting yourself used to being out there, or even just dumb stuff like this, like I make videos. Think about it. If you're in front of a video camera and you get instantly like really self-conscious, what makes that better is making more videos and putting yourself in that uncomfortable space so that you can get more used to it. Like it doesn't bother me now. Like I'll just make stupid videos because, so you get used to it. Apply to present at conferences, put yourself out there. Everyone has something they can share. Everyone has an area of expertise. If you are super freaked out about that, find a friend and co-present together. People I work with, I always tell them something I can do to support them. I'm like, put me on your presentation. I'm always down to present with other people. I learn a lot, and I've done it often enough that it doesn't, I still get nervous the day of, but I don't get as freaked out as I used to be. So you're not going to get more comfortable unless you put yourself out there and do it. So do that. Apply to present at conferences. Doesn't really matter what or where. I started with art teacher conferences when I was an art teacher. It just works in that public speaking, and that's something that you can build and put on your resume. So related to that is join professional organizations. So odds are there is a professional organization for your subject area, no matter what it is that you do. Sometimes there's a state one and a national one. Sometimes it's one or the other. Sometimes it's even well down to like the area of the state you're in. Not only that, but think about like your grade level. So when I was in middle school, there is an association for middle level educators. So there's something for just middle school teachers. If you are at all inclined to use technology, there are so many like ed tech, and you don't have to be an ed tech teacher in order to join these organizations. Some organizations are out of state, and you can still join and be a part of them. And then there are the things that are free that aren't official professional organizations, but are still groups of educators that you can join, such as your GEG, your Google Educator Group. I work with the Chicagoland one. Honestly, it's not a huge formal thing, but it is something that you can put on your resume. I'm a member of the Google Educators Group, Chicagoland. It looks good. It helps to build your resume. So join those groups. It shows employers that you are interested in developing yourself as a professional, and that you do this work independently. You seek it out. You don't wait until you have to be sitting in the room, doing your PD hours at school. That you seek out, being a learner all the time. The next thing that you can do is micro credentials and badging. So things like Google Level 1, Google Level 2, start small. If there is a tool you use a lot at school, if you use Wakelet a lot, seek out the Wakelet like educator or Wakelet community member or Wakelet ambassador. Or if you work with Flipgrid a lot, look into like being the Flipgrid student voice ambassadors. If you use Seesaw, look into being like a Seesaw educator. Cami has something like that. WeVideo has something like that. Every tool has their own badging system, and it can sound silly, like, oh, I collect all these little badges and they don't, they don't cost anything for the most part. They don't mean, but on a resume, it's huge. Again, it shows that you're a learner and you're an expert, and you would be an asset to that school if they also use that tool. They're like, we use Hapara and you have the Hapara teacher certification. That's cool. That makes you more valuable. So yeah, look into that. Start with the ones that you love, and you can kind of build upon that and maybe learn a tool that is at a school you're applying to, maybe that you don't use now, but you can kind of be take initiative and learn about that tool ahead of time, so that if you do have an interview, you're like, hey, I didn't use this, but I have this tool and I taught myself how to do it. I mean, that's pretty huge. So speaking of interviews, this is number 4, interview and apply like a man. Okay, so there's a fact. I'm gonna go dig this up so I can give you. I'm a little backwards here. I'll put information here, like a statistic that women won't apply for a job unless they meet every single requirement on the job posting. But most men, they kind of throw caution in the wind and they're like, just apply for and get it. Lady friends, apply. Even if you don't think you have a shot, apply. What's the worst thing that happens? You hear nothing. Or you do actually get called for an interview, and then you get to practice interviewing. So that's always a good thing too. Or you could get offered the job. So, I mean, hey, I would say put yourself out there, practicing interviewing, getting used to filling out applications, having your resume up to date because you are applying. This is always a good thing. So, yeah, you don't know if you don't try. Put yourself out there, interview and apply like a man. And then number 5, my recommendation would be to work on your digital footprint and social media presence. So first of all, go out, Google your name, because it is something your potential employer would likely be doing. I would hope they would be doing. So go out there, search your name, what comes up. If you have a very common name, search your name with the city. Do an image search, see what you can find about yourself, because that is what your potential employer will find about you as well. And if it's not great, make strides to, make so much good stuff that it outshines anything that might not be good. I don't know. Why are you putting bad stuff out there? Don't do that. If you don't have a social media presence, if I search you and I can't find you, that's not necessarily a good thing. Sometimes teachers are like, well, you can't find me on the internet, so I'm safe. It's like, well, no, I'm that nerd that would search people. I would sit on an interview committee and I would go to Twitter and I would search their name and try to find their Twitter account. I did, and I wanted to find them. If I couldn't find them, it was very frustrating. I was like, well, don't they care about sharing their story and connecting with other educators? And, maybe Twitter's not your jam. That's fine, because frankly, Twitter's getting frustrating anyways. But find your community, find your choice of social media, put yourself out there, share your story, toot your own horn, because nobody else does, especially in the education world. Share your ideas that are out there. Ask questions of other people. Retweet things that you like. Uplift and elevate people that you see doing great things. I cannot tell you how being on, and this is so I know social media is also evil and awful, but being online and connecting with people online has brought about so many opportunities for me that then lead to other things, and then going to conferences and presenting at conferences. It's all very interconnected, but putting yourself out there and doing those things, that's really kind of the key, so that when it is time, so even if you're like, but Jen, I don't want to leave my job, I love my job, these are still things you can do to make yourself better at your job. So it's not even to leave. But I know it's summertime and a lot of people are like, I'm looking to, leave my job, or in the next few years, I want to look at, and I'm just thinking about it. I just don't know what to do. And you don't have the money to go back to school, or the desire to go back to school, or the time to go back to school. School is expensive. So these are things that you can do that cost little to no money, mostly no money, that you can do to kind of develop yourself, look better on a resume, on an application, get better at your interviews by kind of going through and doing all of these things. So apply to present at conferences, join professional organizations, become a member at these different things. Great, even better if you can like run for leadership positions, but probably at the beginning, just join them, hang out. The next thing is interview and apply like a man. Go after some micro-credentials or badging or certified programs. And lastly, work on your social media presence and your digital footprint. That's what we say to the kids. And yeah, hopefully you keep at it, you make those connections, you work on developing yourself, and then good things can happen. It's not always easy. It's not always fast. Again, I'll share my story with you. Link to that video if you're interested. And definitely sticking with it. Eventually things happen. Reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm happy to kind of commiserate, listen to venting, and yeah, keep watching. And thank you for your time. Have a fantastic summer and stay safe, everyone. Bye. Be sure to subscribe to the Reset EDU channel for the latest project updates and episodes. If you're interested in having a conversation or collaborating in a reset for your own classroom, be sure to fill out the form at bit.ly/ResetEDU. That is case sensitive, so type carefully. Or reach out via social media. Thank you for watching.